human imagination is very, very strong. It knowingly or even unknowingly always is creating. We create by what we focus on. We create by what we think about most, what we put energy into, what we vibrate with. Many suffer not because of what they have created, but because of what they have created unconsciously. That is to say, without awareness. That is to say, without actually trying. I had a friend once say that whatever is happening to me, somewhere, somehow, I created it. I somehow, somewhere created it in my life. And I thought this was absolutely crazy. I thought he was crazy. He would also imply ad nauseum that to live a cool life, that to live a happy life, I'd or we'd have to accept this fact. We'd have to live as if whatever happens to us was supposed to happen. Like we somewhere at some time, somehow chose the circumstances that we're in. That we, at some time, wanted to feel the way that we do. It's interesting because at that time, I just thought he was nuts. I resisted this insertion, but for some reason, I never forgot it. Not only had I never forgotten it, I thought about it often throughout the years, practically every time something challenging happened in my life situation. Well, one day, my life took a very unexpected shift, and the course that I thought I was on was thrown way off track. I mean, way off track. Nothing I was doing seemed to be working in the world. The whole world seemed to be against me, closing in on me, crushing me. Illness, betrayals, constant loss, you name it. It was all hitting me at once like a hammer. Boom, boom, boom. By force, not by choice. By force, my entire life situation was shifting and not in a favorable way. Of course, I desperately tried to mend it. I tried everything in my power at the time to return to what I thought was my life. But there were too many forces at work, and all seemed, to be honest, hopeless. Then I remember what my old pal had once said. I reluctantly started considering the idea that maybe, somewhere, somehow, some place, I'd scripted all that is happening to me, well, at least at that moment, that I somehow wanted this to happen, that I somehow, at some time, created this. As ludicrous as it may sound, I actually laughed a little bit. It was very strange, very weird. For a split second, I felt somewhat lifted out of the deep depression I actually was in. A tiny glimmer of hope kind of filled my chest, and then poof, it was gone. I was back to trying to go backwards. I was back to trying to mend what was in the process of literal self-destruction. A few months later, his words entered my mind again. By then, though, I had lost practically everything. Friends, I had lost family members, money, all of the things that I valued most at that time, lost. The things I knew intrinsically, deep down inside, I knew these things would never last forever, but, somehow I believed they would. I realize now that I was okay, but my ego, my sense of identity, who I thought I was completely in shambles. So exhausted, sick of grabbing what seemed to be constantly slipping through my fingers, I just sat. Stared at the sky on a bus stop bench. But a funny thing happened. My mind seemed to go blank. For the first time in a long time, I felt a sense of peace. It was sort of like a numbness that turned into what felt like a relaxation. Maybe what was lost was meant to go. Maybe what he said long ago was not just a statement, but an omen. Maybe this was what was supposed to happen. Even this moment, maybe me on this bench having this revelation was supposed to happen. Freedom. Suddenly a sense of freedom came across my entire body. I decided to accept what is and work to regain not what was lost, but to build anew. To create from what was learned, from what I'd witnessed. To let go of what did not serve me in the past. To start thinking for myself. To start living the way I wanted, not the way others wanted me to. To stop becoming attached to things, to people, to places and so on. To start enjoying things, enjoying people, and enjoying places and so on, and allowing them to flow in and out of my life situation. The inner struggle I'd been feeling, it just began to dissipate. Little by little, I began creating a new life situation, one based on internal freedom, one based more on reality than egoic fantasy. When I felt the inner sting of turmoil, I quickly shift my thoughts back to the notion that, and by the way, this is a quote from the great Eckhart Tolle, which basically sums up the lesson my old friend once shared with me. True freedom and the end of suffering is living in such a way as if you had completely chosen what you feel or experience at this moment. This inner alignment with the now is the end of suffering. I'm Tony Victory, a wolf, uncaged.